everyone, it's Maddie.
I'm V, and today you get to come book shopping with us.
We took a trip to Reading and decided to visit their 2-story Waterstones.
It's a shop we've been dreaming about since we went to Reading last year on a trip with our university. It was a research trip and we only managed to get like 20 minutes in this store because we got there early, and it just felt like somewhere we wanted to explore with a little bit more time.
But we also wanted to do this to show you our process when it comes to buying books and just how long it takes us to make a decision.
So enjoy!
Time we came into Waterstones closer to where we live, we found this really cute middle grade book which was all about a girl going on a snowy adventure, and we didn't pick it up for some reason and now we can't remember the title, so I hope we find it during this trip. We're going to come up on the classics soon.
Here we go, we've made it to the classics. The Penguin English Library table.
I haven't seen them in ages.
Oh, we've got new ones as well because...
Oh, look, and Little Women, we were waiting for it to come out in this version.
Yeah. There are so many in that series. Who knew?
We really need to...
And look, they've got all the Outlanders. So we've got these ones, and then they've got these ones as well.
That's strange, in effect.
Look at this cute little Philippa Gregory rainbow. Makes me want to buy these editions instead.
With Copperfield, wasn't it, that was talked about?
Yes, and Hetty Feather.
Why does it have to be huge?
What other Dickens do they have?
Just
Oh, and they've got other George Eliots as well, Silas Manor and The Mill on the Floor. Yeah, we have to be strategic with the classics that we buy because we're going to be lugging them around all day.
At the tail end of last year, we read Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, and that was one of her shorter ones, and it was just to introduce us to classics. And now I'm really interested in her most iconic one.
I like how they group their things together in little categories. Timeless section.
Again, another chunky book, but I could get the fourth one in the School for Good and Evil series if we were picking things for full price.
Have you read the fourth one already?
Yeah, I've read the fourth one on my Kindle because I read it before its release, and then that just didn't motivate me to pick up the cover, even though I really do like the colours of it. Like, that cloud is gorgeous up there. I'm not sure when the fifth one is coming out, but it's definitely this year, and it's got like a really big holographic bubble, I think, on the cover, and I thought that this one felt like a prequel to a second trilogy, so I'm thinking hopefully that the fifth one will be better than I thought this one was. I Stay needs an updated pastel cover like I was hearing the rest of Gail Forman's books, because that would really make me want to pick it up. What have you got there, Bea? Bright Smoke, Cold Fire by Rosamund Hodge. I love finding like weirdly obscure American YA in UK bookshops. I've never read Rosamund Hodge because she did Cruel Beauty, which was a
the Beauty and the Beast retelling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When everybody was doing retellings.
It's a darkly romantic atmospheric fantasy inspired by Romeo and Juliet.
Probably not.
Not our favourite of the Shakespeares.
I'm really interested in Nowhere on Earth by Nick Lake. This is about a teenage girl and her little brother who are in a plane crash and they don't know where they've landed, so it's all about their survival, and also some men are chasing them. That definitely raises the stakes. Again, drawn in by this beautiful rainbow cover. It's again slightly different to what I'd usually read.
I was just digging around on the bottom shelf and I found The Secret Deep by Lindsay Calvin, which is one of my favourite books of last year. They've got our cover of Brightly Burning as well by Alexa Dunn. After just finishing the loose ends list, I'm really interested in what else Carrie Firestone has done.
In this one, the main character is a YouTuber who gets overnight fame and then loads of new best friends and they go on a road trip.
Well, you can always write down any titles that
Yeah,
we're not going to get
definitely.
today to get a lace date. Was this series, the Catherine McGee one you would want to collect, like in paperback or not really?
Probably not, just because
No.
they were like so trashy.
It's like a library read.
and so similar.
This one's so high up. We've got an arc of that one. Must read it soon. Oh yeah, you're currently reading a Jasmine Walker, aren't you?
Yeah, although they haven't got it here. Yeah, I'm reading Here We Are Now and I really like it. And I do have this one on my Kindle though, so I may as well just read it from there.
It's a bit darker, isn't it? Because
Yeah, 'cause it's
suicide's
about
one of the
suicide.
themes.
They plan to commit suicide together. Love bringing them back from suicide, which isn't that kind of the plot to All the Right Places?
Yeah, very similar.
I don't know if I'll like this one as much as the one I'm reading now then, but I really, really enjoy her writing style.
Now, we have the first two in this trilogy. I can't remember how we came upon the first one, but the second one, Maddie won in a raffle at Yelk last year, and they've got the third one, so do we just complete it? Don't know where else we would get it.
I picked this one up because of the colours on the spine, and there's like glitter in the font as well, so that made me reach for it. It seems like a pretty stereotypical romance about like a boy turning up at a girl's doorstep and they don't really know each other and he wants to hide out in her house for some reason. It seems like it's going to focus on their developing romance, which I love it when characters just getting to know each other rather than falling in love instantly. And a lot of the keywords are like dreamy and sweet, which I guess this cover kind of does tell you, the fact that they're sleeping.
I've got the first book in this series on my Kindle. I'm not really sure what's it about apart from angels, but it's going to be exciting, I think, to read a new series because I feel like I haven't started a new one in ages. I'm really excited about the cover changes for the Graces because now the sequel will match the arc I have, which is essentially this, so they must have really liked the arc design. It has lettering on the back as well. Look at this edition of Six of Crows. Oh, that's special. I think I like the back better. Have you found there?
I like the cover of this one. It's The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, although the plot does sound rather similar to A Fire and Stars, about a girl who picks a talent for one of the 5 passions: art, music, dramatics, wit and knowledge, and she chooses knowledge, and then there's like a plot to overthrow her or overthrow something, and she might be the one who holds the key to it all. I find it really difficult to pick out fantasies because the blurbs just make them sound so generic and samey.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I really need to read reviews before I buy anything.
I wondered about collecting this series because I have them on my Kindle, but then I don't know, I feel like everyone's opinion really soured on it after the third book. This one was at Yelp. The drought's been going on for a while. Life's become an endless list of don'ts. Suddenly, Alyssa's quiet suburban street spirals into a war zone. I read a water dystopian before, The Rain by Virginia Bergin, and I have been thinking about it recently actually because there are so many scenes in it that have stuck in my mind about the desperation of the situation, like how somebody got rain on their foot and they just had to cut it off because
it was acid rain.
Yeah, it was infected with something.
I haven't read any Neil Schusterman though, so maybe
He's
read
Scythe,
Scythe first and then...
Yeah, see what the writing style
Yeah.
is like, but this maybe seems like more of my thing, and Scythe could be more yours.
Yeah, it is on the TBR, on the old TBR.
I'll add it to the list of things I've seen.
He literally said this morning that One of Us is Lying has sparked a whole new genre of teen thriller, and that is totally confirmed when it starts getting for fans of stickers.
So we're done with our browsing here, and we've come up with a list of things that we're really interested in researching further and potentially buying.
12. We got 12 books. 12 books. The thing that happens with us when we come book shopping is that we always end up having like a big list and we're carrying around a lot of things. And then when we sit down to talk about what we actually want to buy, we end up putting like everything back. We've talked ourselves out of a lot of purchases, but obviously because we have to carry everything around for the rest of the day, maybe we'll pop in before we leave, I don't know. We've decided to say no to the 2 classics just because we'll be able to get get them literally
Anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And they're really heavy because the pages, even though they're paper thin, the density is like makes them super heavy. If we're going to spend our money, I think we should do it on YA. We always check the Amazon marketplace for used and new books. So one of them is like Every Day by David Leviathan, and we watched the movie recently and really loved it.
Yeah.
But that's only going to be like 1 penny on used and new, so like £3.
Also, something to consider is that the buy one get one half price tables vary from store to store, so they put different books on, and there are some that we've seen that we'd like to combine with ones from this store, and it's just not possible because they're not all here. So we're going to have to browse our local Waterstones as well to see if we can get the best offers.
After we'd done our exploring of the city, we decided to come back to Waterstones because we didn't really want to leave without buying a book. It took us ages to deliberate over what to get, but we'd been thinking about these 2 books on the buy one get one half price like the whole time when we weren't in the bookshop, so we were like, we have to go back and get those. And we each read like the first 5 or 6 pages just to get the tone of the writing, and we both really liked them and were convinced that those were good choices. So for me, that's Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I've liked everything that Julie Kagawa has written in the past, and I'm really pleased that this is a Japanese mythology, so I think that's just going to be a recipe for a really great story, and I've heard some excellent buzz on this from YouTube as well, so I think I'm going to love it, and I'm bumping it up my TBR.
In the end, I did go with Nowhere on Earth by Nick Lake. This, when I read the first couple of chapters, gave me the same vibes as The Secret Deep did from last year, and I kind of wanted to just sit down and read the whole thing, so I'm definitely going to be reading this maybe on a read all day because I think it's definitely a one-sitting book. I think I'm so drawn to the fast-paced nature of these books and the kind of more action-adventure vibe that clashes with contemporary.
I hope it's going to have the same sense of desperation that How I Live Now, the film, does.
Yes, it actually does feel a bit like How I Live Now, so very excited about this one. And our very final choice was Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in the Monsters of Verity series. It's one that we've both read the first book of, so we can read this one together, or maybe reread the series because it's been quite a while since we read the first one. And this one was super expensive online as well, so it just made sense to buy it full price in store.
So we almost picked The True Colour of Forever by Carrie Firestone, known in the US as The Unlikelies, and we actually noticed that I had that on my TBR.
It was so weird that the blurb online was different to the blurb on this back cover.
This one is very like current because it's talking about YouTube fame and road trips, which I think is definitely more marketed towards a UK audience, whereas the US one is all about like social justice. Basically, it sounds like something we're going to love, but because it was published in 2015, it's actually only like £2.50 on the used and new marketplace, so it makes sense to get it there.
I am really sad that we won't get to own the cute ice creams cover though.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have 2 new favourites of ours. For me, that's All the Lonely People, and for Maddie, that's The Secret Deep.
This is actually like only £4.50 on Amazon, and this one is still full price, but we'll need it to make that £10 to get free shipping on an Amazon basket, so we're going to buy these when we get home.
So it's a favourite for each of us, but we haven't swapped and read the other, so I'm excited to read the paperback of All the Lonely People.
So these are the books that we ended up getting. We could have walked out with a lot more on that day, but we did come home and order some things on Amazon, so we'll get to see that in a book haul in the future. Thank you everyone so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this slightly different format. We post bookish videos every Sunday, so we'll see you next time.